Hi, I'm Josh, and welcome to my September TBR. What am I reading this month? If you saw my status update on Facebook, oh my god. If you saw my second quarter statistics review, you'll know that I have a few things I have to focus on for the rest of the year. More classics, more older books that I've owned before this year, and books by people of color, as well as more queer authors. And with all those in mind, I've constructed a TBR with books I've been wanting to read, getting rid of some things that I was hoping to read this month that I realized just needs to be pushed off. Without further ado, let's just get at it, eh? The first couple aren't really meeting my goals that well, but there's Colson Whitehead's Zone 1. But the main reason I'm reading this is because it was for the Literally Dead book club I think in June, and then the book club was last month and I missed it. But I'm reading it now. Pretty sure I'm going to finish it. It's honestly okay. But for the book club of August, which means that one was July. Anyways, it was Home Before Dark. I'm pretty sure this book club's going to be in early September, so I'm probably going to read this very soon. Then I had from last month a series of books that I plan on reading. Well, I was reading one of my favorite booktubers' favorite books, and that's going to be these 4 books. The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, which will help with my Latinx authors. Barracoon, The Last Story of the Last Slave by Zora Neale Hurston. Friday Black by Ig Abrinia, and then Jasmine Ward's Sing Unbird Sing. They had a diverse list of books that I've been really excited to read anyways, and while I didn't get to them last month because of everything that's been going on in my life, I'm excited to be getting to this, if not this week, then next week. It's going to be one of the first things that I read, and I'm really excited to be doing that because I have so many favorite booktubers that I want to read their favorites of, and it's really hard when I realized that I can do one a month basically, and if I try to do 2, it probably won't work out. Otherwise, it's basically my entire TBR, and it turns out it's more like every couple months and every 2 or 3 months, which means I can only do so many a year, and this is proving to be a lot harder to get to everyone that I want to get to, especially when I have to buy new books. But if you have seen my other couple, I have one for Ariel Bissett and one for Books and Lala. I have others coming as well. I have a whole stack of books that I want to get to for another Books and Lala one. But at the same time, I have other people I want to read too, so it's like trying to find the right balance. I forgot to mention that Barracoon, The Last Slave is actually my anti-racism book of the month, which is a personal goal of mine to read at least one anti-racist book per month. I said already this was supposed to be read last month. Luckily, I also read The Book of Black People by Lawrence Hill, and I think that classifies or can be classified as anti-racism as well. That ended up being my anti-racist book for August, and this is the anti-racist book for September. Wanted to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable here. I feel like we're already halfway through. How did this happen? The next one that I'm reading was another carryover from last month. That's going to be Gabriel Garcia Marquez, his 100 Years of Solitude. This is a magical realism, I think the creator of magical realism, generational family story that's also technically a classic, published in the 1960s. And I had trouble getting to this at first. Granted, my grandmother just died, so I'm hoping to get to this sooner rather than later, honestly. I know I've said all these books I want to get to sooner in the month, so that's not feasibly possible to get to all of them all at once. I was reading that as a part of a themed reading vlog, and while that fell through, I still want to get a recommendation video up for that theme. Then what am I reading? I'm going to be reading Lovecraft's Country by Matt Ruff. This is neither an old TBR book, nor is it a person of color, but what it is a horror book, but also the book club pick for the Black Future book club, hosted by Erica over at the Broken Spine. Then I'm going to be reading So What Are Some of Yours, My Beloved World. If you don't know, she's one of the justices on the Supreme Court. This is one of my oldest books that I have on my TBR, and that is really why I'm reading this, because one, I need to read books that I've just owned for too long. Honestly, this is the only book I think that I did not buy this year, so clearly I'm struggling in that aspect of my goal. I am interested in this. Let's just say that when I first bought it, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. I had this idea of what it would be, and I've just gotten disenfranchised with these sort of political narratives. I just have a feeling it's going to be very calculated and not very interesting. Some political memoirs can be really interesting and revealing, others not so much. I read the other one by the Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, and that one was terrible, but I'm hoping for better. The next one I want to mention is going to be Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. This is one I read literally 10 years ago, maybe more, in high school, and I chose to read this because my grandmother died, and I remember this having to do a lot with loss, and I was hoping it would help me, I guess, right now, coping with what is quite frankly the biggest loss that I've ever had to go through in life. But the subtext is an old man, a young man, and a life's greatest story. It's a nonfiction book about this student who was interviewing his college professor in his final days as he was leading up to death. And I don't remember this being very religious, but I know Mitch Albom is a very religious writer, so I'm hoping that's not what's going on here. I was very religious when I read this the first time. That might be why it didn't stick out to me, but I'm hoping for something that's going to be very comforting on a secular level. Okay, what else? Now I have 2 more books that I want to read. The first one is going to be An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon, and of course this is because Erica at The Broken Spine kept pushing it so hard, and so this is the first one I'm going to read. I'm excited to get into this. Honestly, highly anticipated. I have yet to make a 5-star prediction video, but if I did, this would be on it. The next one I'm going to be reading is going to be A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martin, and this is a queer space opera, which so is Unkindness of Ghost. And this was the Hugo winner this year, and that was really why I bought it, because I was really hoping Middle Game would win, and when it didn't win, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna read the one that won and see if it's actually better than Middle Game. It's gonna be a tough job. We'll see. This is actually my book club's pick. I have a group of friends that I have a book club with, and this is the one we ended up voting to pick. And in relation to these two, these are both queer, and this month we have the Queer Weekendathon, which is the mini part of the Queer Readathon that happens every 6 months, I think, or I don't remember. You can check out the Twitter page for more information. And I figured, well, actually I didn't figure, I got these because I wanted to read them. And then I realized I need to pick books that are queer for that readathon into this month. And as it turns out, I already had 2, which is perfect. The first one I'm probably gonna read is this one. And then I want to start this one next because I don't want to rush through this. I want to make sure that basically I want to be able to finish this and then say, okay, let me start this, take my time and enjoy it. If I need to, I can extend it beyond the readathon because this is a book I really, really want to enjoy. And that's pretty much it. I have another book that I've had on hiatus or DNF sort of several months ago. I'm not going to bother mentioning it. It's been on pause for quite a while. And those are all the books that I want to read. That's not true. I also have the Buzzword Readathon, and I'm not going to tell you those books. I've bought a stack of 5 or 6 books that have the word night in them. This is a readathon hosted by Books and Lala, where she picks a word that is a buzzword for titles, in titles. And I wasn't sure if I was going to participate, and then I realized I have a lot more titles with the word night in it than I realized. And several of them are actually books that are from my TBR shelf, some of my older books, which is, I need to get to that since I haven't really read any others besides that one by Sonia Sotomayor. So hopefully I have a good reading month because obviously I'm not going to do the Buzzword Readathon if these take longer than I want them to, but hopefully I can get through these 12 or 13 books by then. And there aren't that many. I intentionally tried to keep it low just so I wasn't feeling too stressed. But of course, October is coming up. That is Halloween. I want to focus almost entirely on horror if possible. We'll see. I'd hate to have to carry some of these over in October and ruin my horror surprise. Last year, I actually spent all of September and October reading horror. But I also got kind of burnt out after that, so I'm not doing that again this year. But that's where I'm at right now. So let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if you're participating in any of these readathons, or if you're participating in a Deep Black Future Book Club, which if you're not, you absolutely should. Okay, and as always, I hope you all stay safe. Bye.